Imagine walking through the doors of one of the largest Nutella factories in the world, where the air is filled with the rich aroma of roasted hazelnuts, freshly ground cocoa, and just a hint of sweetness. Behind those doors lies a fascinating story that combines tradition, innovation, and a little bit of magic. Today we're diving deep into the world of Nutella, the beloved chocolate hazelnut spread that has captured hearts and taste buds across America and beyond. This is not just a story about how a spread is made, it's about passion, history, and the careful process that transforms raw ingredients into the silky smooth Nutella that so many of us grew up with. If you've ever wondered what makes Nutella's flavor so unique and irresistible, buckle up, because this journey will take us across continents, from the sun-drenched cocoa farms of West Africa to the rolling hazelnut orchards of Italy, and finally into the high-tech facilities where Nutella is brought to life. Nutella's story begins long before jars lined American grocery store shelves. It dates back to 1946, when an Italian pastry maker named Pietro Ferrero created a sweet paste made from hazelnuts, sugar, and just a little bit of cocoa. In the aftermath of World War II, cocoa was scarce and expensive, but hazelnuts were plentiful in northern Italy. By using hazelnuts as the main ingredient, Pietro not only solved a problem but also created a completely new taste experience. Originally called giandajat, this spread quickly gained popularity in Italy. By 1964, the recipe had been refined, rebranded, and officially launched under the name Nutella. The spread began its journey across Europe, and by the late 1980s, it had made its way into the US market, where it didn't take long to become a household name. Today, Nutella is more than a product. It's a global icon, sold in over 160 countries and enjoyed in countless ways, from being spread on toast in the morning to becoming the secret star of decadent desserts. But what truly sets Nutella apart is the way it's made. The production process is a perfect balance between respecting nature's gifts and mastering advanced technology. Let's start at the very beginning, the cocoa. In West Africa, under golden rays of tropical sunlight, farmers carefully harvest cocoa pods that glow in shades of yellow, orange, and deep red. These pods are cut by hand, an age-old tradition that ensures the beans inside remain intact. Each pod holds precious cocoa beans, the foundation of chocolate as we know it. Once split open, the beans are removed and gathered for the next step, fermentation. This stage is crucial. The beans are placed in large wooden boxes or covered under banana leaves, where they rest for several days. During this time, natural reactions occur that transform the beans' flavor, reducing bitterness and enhancing the complex notes we associate with chocolate. After fermentation, the beans are spread out under the sun to dry. Farmers often turn them by hand, making sure they dry evenly. The smell of drying cocoa is unforgettable, a mix of bitterness, sweetness, and earthiness that hints at the rich flavor to come. These dried beans are then shipped to processing plants in Europe, where Nutella's factories await their arrival. Of course, cocoa is only part of the story. If Nutella has a signature taste, it's thanks to hazelnuts, those little golden brown nuts that give the spread its nutty aroma and creamy texture. For this, we travel to the Lang region of Italy, an area famous for its hazelnut orchards. Here, rows of hazelnut trees stretch across rolling hills, and during harvest season, the ground becomes carpeted with ripe hazelnuts. Farmers collect them with specialized equipment that gently gathers the nuts without damaging them. Quality is everything here. The nuts are carefully sorted to remove any that don't meet strict standards. Then they're roasted, a step that unlocks their rich, toasty flavor. The smell of roasting hazelnuts is so intoxicating that it alone could make you fall in love with Nutella. Once cooled, the nuts are ground into a silky paste that blends seamlessly with cocoa and sugar inside the factory. But Nutella's texture also owes much to another ingredient, palm oil. Unlike many oils, the palm oil used in Nutella is odorless and has a neutral taste, which means it doesn't interfere with the flavors of cocoa and hazelnut. Instead, it helps create that smooth, spreadable consistency we all know. To understand how palm oil is made, we head to Malaysia and Indonesia, where palm fruits are harvested in huge bunches. Each sterilized tank can hold up to 33 tons of these fruits, which are steamed under high pressure to make the oil easier to extract. The fruits are then pressed, releasing a thick, golden liquid. Through a process of separation, impurities and water are removed, leaving behind pure palm oil. Timing is crucial here. The oil must be transported to Nutella's factories quickly to ensure freshness and quality. For many, palm oil is a controversial ingredient, but Ferrero, the company behind Nutella, has committed to sourcing 100% certified sustainable palm oil, ensuring that the spread you love is made responsibly. Now, imagine these three key ingredients, cocoa, hazelnuts, and palm oil, coming together inside a Nutella factory. The cocoa beans, once roasted and ground, transform into a smooth cocoa mass. The hazelnuts, roasted to perfection, become a paste. The sugar is finely ground into a powder so fine it feels like silk between your fingers. Each ingredient is weighed, measured, and tested to guarantee consistency. Then comes the blending. In giant stainless steel mixers, cocoa, hazelnut paste, sugar, milk powder, and palm oil are combined in precise proportions. The mixture is stirred continuously until it becomes velvety smooth. At this stage, the aroma is overwhelming, the sweetness of cocoa, the nuttiness of hazelnuts, and the richness of milk all merging into one irresistible scent. To make sure every jar of Nutella tastes exactly the same, the mixture goes through a process called refining. Large rollers crush the mixture into particles so small that they're undetectable to the tongue. This step gives Nutella its creamy, melt-in-your-mouth texture. After refining, the mixture is conched, stirred and aerated in heated vats for hours. This final step develops flavor, smooths texture, and ensures that signature Nutella consistency. By the time the mixture is ready, it's transformed from raw ingredients into the silky spread that millions of people around the world can't resist. But Nutella's story doesn't stop in the factory. Once the spread is ready, it's poured into jars that are instantly recognizable with their white lids and simple, bold labels. Automated machines fill, seal, and label thousands of jars every hour, ensuring that they're airtight and safe for transport. These jars are then boxed up and shipped to supermarkets, corner stores, and online retailers, eventually landing in American kitchens where families scoop, spread, and savor the product in countless ways. For some, Nutella is breakfast on a slice of warm toast. For others, it's the secret ingredient in a batch of cookies, a swirl in a milkshake, or a late-night spoonful straight from the jar. What makes Nutella so iconic is not just its flavor but the feelings it evokes. For many Americans, opening a jar of Nutella brings back memories of childhood lunches, road trips, or lazy weekend mornings. It's a comfort food, a luxury, and a tradition all in one. And behind every jar lies an incredible journey, a global network of farmers, harvesters, and factory workers all contributing to that one simple pleasure. When you take a bite, you're tasting cocoa grown in the rich soils of West Africa, hazelnuts from the hills of Italy, and the work of countless hands that made it possible. If you've ever scooped out a spoonful of Nutella and spread that velvety chocolate hazelnut goodness over warm toast, you've probably wondered, how is this world-famous spread actually made? What happens behind the scenes to turn raw ingredients like cocoa beans, hazelnuts, milk, and sugar into one of the most beloved treats across America and the globe? Today we're diving deep into the fascinating journey of Nutella, a process that blends tradition, science, and modern technology into a smooth, creamy spread that millions of people can't live without. From milk collected on family farms to hazelnuts roasted to perfection, every step is carefully designed to preserve quality, flavor, and consistency. So buckle up because the story of Nutella's creation is far richer than you might imagine. It all begins with the milk. Fresh milk is collected from trusted farms, transported in large tankers, and delivered to Nutella factories. Before it's ever used in production, the milk undergoes a rigorous series of quality checks. Experts test it for freshness, color, aroma, and taste. It's not just about making sure the milk is safe, it's about making sure it meets Nutella's unique flavor profile. Once approved, the milk is converted into skim milk powder, a vital ingredient that helps create the spread's smooth texture and distinctive creamy taste. Even at this early stage, Nutella relies heavily on internal tasting teams who perform sensory evaluations to ensure the milk is just right. Nothing goes forward unless the milk passes every test. The sweetness in Nutella comes from sugar, but not just any sugar. Around 75% of it comes from sugar beets, while the remaining 25% is sourced from sugar cane. After harvesting, sugar beets and cane are transported to processing plants where they're washed thoroughly and sliced into thin strips. These strips go through a heat-based extraction process that releases their natural juice. That juice is then refined into pure, crystallized sugar. This refined sugar is what makes its way to the Nutella factory, where it blends harmoniously with other ingredients. It's important to note that sugar in Nutella isn't just about sweetness. It also plays a critical role in preserving texture and stabilizing the spread, ensuring every jar tastes just as delightful months after it leaves the factory. Then comes perhaps the most iconic ingredient, cocoa. Cocoa beans are sourced from select regions around the world, chosen for their flavor profiles and quality. Once the beans arrive at the factory, they undergo strict inspections. Their physical appearance, chemical composition, and even microbiological safety are all evaluated before they can be used. The beans go through a carefully monitored drying stage, followed by husking, where the outer shells are removed to expose the nibs inside. These cocoa nibs are then treated with an alkali solution in a process known as dutching, which enhances their flavor and deepens their rich brown color. Afterward, the nibs are roasted to bring out the signature cocoa aroma we all associate with chocolate. Roasting times and temperatures are fine-tuned depending on the batch, ensuring a balanced flavor. The roasted nibs are then ground into a thick paste known as cocoa mass. This cocoa mass can be pressed further to separate cocoa butter from cocoa solids. The remaining solids are refined into cocoa powder, which, when combined with the butter, creates the distinct chocolatey base for Nutella. Each step of this process is closely monitored because even small changes in roasting or grinding can affect the flavor in the final product. Of course, no story of Nutella is complete without hazelnuts, the ingredient that gives it its unmistakable nutty richness. Hazelnuts are delivered to the factory from farms in Turkey, Italy, and other regions renowned for their quality. Just like with milk and cocoa, the nuts are put through a rigorous set of tests. They're checked chemically, physically, and microbiologically to ensure they meet the brand's strict standards. Once approved, the hazelnuts are roasted in specialized machines that handle them in carefully measured batches. This ensures even roasting, which unlocks their natural oils and intensifies their nutty aroma. Right next to the production line, quality experts conduct tasting sessions at every stage, checking flavor, crunch, and aroma to guarantee that each batch maintains consistency. Once these raw ingredients, milk powder, sugar, cocoa, and hazelnuts, are ready, the real magic begins. Workers pour them into massive industrial mixers, along with a small but vital addition, palm oil. Palm oil often gets misunderstood, but in Nutella, it serves a crucial role. It gives the spread its silky smooth texture and prevents the mixture from hardening, ensuring that Nutella stays creamy even when stored at room temperature. Inside these mixers, all the ingredients are blended together into a thick, homogeneous mass. The smell at this stage is intoxicating, sweet, nutty, and chocolatey all at once. But mixing isn't enough to create the signature creaminess Nutella is known for. That's where refining comes in. The blended mixture passes through high-tech refining machines, which grind the particles down to an incredibly fine texture, smaller than the tongue can detect. This is what makes Nutella so smooth that it practically melts in your mouth. Without this refining process, the spread would feel grainy and coarse, a far cry from the luxurious texture people expect. After refining, the mixture is ready for the final stage, packaging. Modern factories use automated systems to handle this process with precision and efficiency. Massive filling machines dispense the perfect amount of Nutella into each glass jar, which is then sealed airtight to preserve freshness. The jars are labeled, inspected, and packed neatly into boxes, ready to be shipped out to grocery stores and households around the world. From large-scale warehouses to small-town supermarkets in America, these jars eventually find their way to kitchen cabinets, where they'll become part of breakfast spreads, baking recipes, and late-night snacks. What makes Nutella's production even more impressive is its commitment to environmental protection. Factories recycle glass jars and continuously work to reduce waste throughout the production chain. Sustainability has become an increasingly important part of modern food manufacturing, and Nutella is no exception. By cutting down on emissions, reusing materials, and optimizing energy use, the brand strives to maintain its beloved product while also being mindful of its global footprint. Think about it. The journey of a single jar of Nutella begins with farmers harvesting sugar beets, cocoa beans, and hazelnuts thousands of miles away. These ingredients pass through a series of highly technical processes, overseen by experts at every stage, before they're combined into a creamy mixture. The final product is not just a spread, it's a carefully crafted balance of flavors, textures, and aromas that millions of Americans enjoy daily. Whether you're swirling it into oatmeal, spreading it on pancakes, or eating it straight from the jar, you're tasting the result of decades of refinement and innovation. So, the next time you twist open a jar of Nutella and catch that first whiff of sweet, nutty chocolate, remember the journey it took to get there. From the farms to the factory, from raw ingredients to the polished glass jars lined up on store shelves, Nutella's story is one of craftsmanship, precision, and passion. And maybe, just maybe, that makes it taste even better.